Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Star Trek Online. I'm Bull, and today I'm going to be showing around the new Romulus Embassy. It's a fairly new thing they added to the game, and our fleet hasn't really messed with it much. We haven't really done any upgrades or anything, although we just started working on that pretty seriously just in the last couple weeks. And we're just about ready to make our first couple of improvements to the embassy. But for the meantime, I figure I'll do a little video and do a little walkthrough and show everybody a little of what's what. So, to get to the embassy, you can do one of two things at the moment. You can either travel to New Romulus, and when you're in orbit above the planet, you can beam directly into the... Or if you're on New Romulus in the open area here, you come up to these big double doors, and you can visit your embassy. And right now the embassy is really, really sparse as it loads in. Because, as I said, we haven't done any upgrades. So it's a big area, mostly empty. Just some Starfleet personnel wandering around aimlessly. And it's loading extra slow today. Always a fun time. The embassy is interesting. It does a bunch of different stuff. And we'll try to talk about the different stuff here shortly. So this is the embassy. It's apparently Romulan architecture. There's a teleport pad that'll let you go back up to your ship, or you can just use the beam directly to your ship button next to your mini map. There is a turbo lift, and the turbo lift will take you to the Shuttle Bay and to the Ops Center. We'll do that in a minute. You have your main reception area. And like I said, really big area. Whole lot of nothing at the moment. There is an Officer of the Watch, so you can do a daily mission for fleet marks. The daily mission only gives you 5 fleet marks, and considering that you need hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of fleet marks for many of your projects, it seems to be a bit of a waste. There is a bank console. This I really think is cool. There's this nifty little... these little force fields going into the various rooms. You've got a little meeting room or whatever here. So if you want to come on in and have a seat. Haha. Yes, please, come in. And I really like that little force field effect. That's pretty cool. I'm not entirely sure if that serves any sort of purpose, and honestly, I think that's the first time I've actually seen that effect in-game. So I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with it. And then you have a big operations center type thingy up here, but nothing usable. Nobody you can talk to yet. Considering the way they did the Fleet Starbase, I imagine that these little round pedestals, or whatever they are, will eventually serve some sort of purpose as you upgrade your embassy. So if you tried running around in real life like you did in a MMO, you'd probably end up killing yourself. There's a neat bar area back here with a really long table. A couple of bartenders, a chef. Of course, you can't do anything with them until you unlock it at a certain tier. And we'll jump over the table because it's easier than going around. As I said, you can't really do these sort of things in real life. More's the pity. So... So what can we do now? Right. So let's head upstairs and we'll visit the Ops Center first, just to take a look at it. And like I said, keep in mind at this point we haven't upgraded anything, so we have nothing fancy or funky beside the stock embassy. And this is really cool. I seem to recall something along these lines from the various Star Trek movies involving Spock. Like a training center or something like that for their Vulcan Academy, I want to say. Could be wrong. Oh, and this is neat too. I love the little star chart thing going on underneath. And it looks very pretty. And you've got this little, whatever this is, right here in the middle. But at the moment, there's not a whole lot here. Operational assets. We can't do anything with that yet. More stuff we'll have to unlock down the line. Contact Federation Recruiter. Oh, that's really cool, actually. I didn't realize this was in here. So you can actually do your recruitment assignments if you want to recruit more officers through this. Oh, and request duty officer. Oh yeah, that's right. Eventually, as we go through, we'll unlock the ability to request Romulan duty officers, which will be kind of neat. I'm a huge fan of the duty officer system, so anything that adds more variation to that. Tailor, eventually that'll unlock some costume options and stuff, which is kind of neat. More costumes, always the better. And what does this one do? Request bridge officers. Ah, right. And also eventually you'll be able to get Romulan bridge officers. Now I have the Riemann bridge officer from the replay event, which is pretty cool. But it'd be neat to get a Romulan to go with him. So let's head to the Shuttle Bay. This is the Shuttle Bay, and I really like this Shuttle Bay just because it kind of has that really old school Trek feel to it. With the big yellow and red on the floor, and yeah, those are next-gen style shuttles, I believe. But you know, the shuttle design hasn't really progressed much from the original series. Requisition ground equipment. We can't do anything with that yet. And this is interesting. We can't actually buy any of this stuff. Okay, it's showing up, but we can't buy it yet. I think we need to unlock various tiers of the embassy before we can buy these. And these are pretty cool. You can use these to confuse or placate enemies. The psionic pacifiers. The psionic agitator increases your threat. The psionic calm emitter decreases your threat. And those are neat. I don't know. Yeah, okay, the pacifiers are consumed on use. These are just ground devices, so I don't know how long they last or what the cooldown is on those. Alright, and over to here, we have the space equipment. And space equipment is really, really nice. This is probably the coolest thing of the embassies. Is going to be the ability to buy these consoles. These are special science consoles. There's three types: plasma infused, hull repair, and shield emitter. The plasma infused consoles give all your they add to plasma energy weapon damage. So they're really good if you're using plasma weapons. And as you do the Romulan reputation, you unlock plasma torpedoes and a plasma experiment and a bunch of plasma weapons. So this fits in with the whole Romulan theme of plasma, plasma, plasma. They also have a chance to add the plasma DOT proc to non-plasma weapons, which is really, really cool. So You don't get the damage bonus if you're not using plasma weapons, but you have the chance to get that plasma burn going on, even if you're using disruptors or phasers or whatever, which is really neat. So then you've got, so that's the plasma infused, and we'll come back to the other thing that's neat about these in a minute. Then you got hull repair, which when you take damage has a chance to do hull repair. And shield emitter, which when you take damage has a chance to repair your shields. Both of those are very cool for tanking. The plasma infused, obviously very good for pew-pewing. Now, the other neat thing about these is that they have threat increasing or decreasing abilities, which is just amazing, especially in this game where threat management is really, really tough to pull off because there's very few ways to do any sort of threat management. So you've got one that decreases threat, and then you've got some that increase threat. And then of course they do different stuff. You've got your stealth module, particle generators, power insulators. So the neat thing is they have the standard science console abilities on top of the threat and the, well, in this case, the plasma or the hull repair or the shield emitters. So that is really cool as well. These are just amazing. They're a bit pricey. You can see here the Mark 10 isn't too bad. 12,500 fleet credits and 2,500 dilithium. And the Mark 12s are 50,000 fleet credits, 10,000 dilithium. A little pricey, but not bad, especially when you compare it to the weapons, which, you know, especially when you may need to buy 4 or 6 or 8 of the weapons. And, you know, some of those weapons run 28,000 dilithium each. So, by comparison, these are much, much more manageable. Now, again, like the devices, I don't know if these are because it says decreases threat generation by whatever while active. I have no idea if that's a triggered effect or what the cooldown is. Unfortunately, this stuff is still fairly new, and while it's really good for some things, the Star Trek Online wiki is really bad for other things, and it just hasn't been seeing a lot of updates lately. And since we haven't unlocked these yet, unfortunately, I can't check them myself yet. Hopefully soon. Actually, and I will take a look here. And if you're curious as to how you upgrade the embassy, if you come into you have to be in a fleet. You go into your fleet management, and you click over to embassy, and you can see Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. And we are currently upgrading Tier 1 what is that? Embassy recruitment XP recruitment tier. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us a whole lot cool by itself. Oh yeah, here we go. Yellow. Completing this yellow will give us +1 duty officer assignment slot, which is also really cool. Which means every character has 20 duty officer assignments slots, which means you can do 20 DOF assignments. Each tier of this gives you a +1 to that, so eventually we'll have 23, which is a lot of fun, especially if you have a character like mine that's bought up all of his duty officer slots. So I have 400 duty officers potentially, which means I can actually run quite a few of these. You get the Romulan duty officer recruitment contact, unique green officers. So that'll let us recruit green Romulan DOFs. It'll let us recruit the green Romulan bridge officers. And it'll let us get the personal ground kit variants. I don't know a whole lot about these either, but they're basically upgraded kits for the various classes. Like I said, I don't know exactly what all's involved with those yet. Let's see, tier 1 of this lets us get the, that lets us get the strut scaling consoles Mark 10. So we'll be able to get the Mark 10s as soon as this is done. And for us, our recruitment tier is going to be done in 5.5 hours. Unfortunately, these have a long cooldown. So when we get up to the next one, it's a 5-day cooldown on top of however long it'll take us to donate all the stuff to finish the project. Unfortunately, I'm a member of the RPGNet Fleet Vanguard Group Omega, VGO, and we are a fairly small fleet. There's only a handful of us that are actively playing, so it takes a long time for some of the larger projects to get finished. But anyways, this gives us the consoles. It'll give us the ability to buy fleet birds of prey as reinforcements, which means that during the middle of the fight, if we buy an operational asset, we can summon in a couple of birds of prey to help us out. Cool, but I tend to find those to be a bit pricey. I suppose if I was doing PvP or elite STFs, those might see more use. But since I don't, not really worth the cost. And the ground consumable small psionic pacifier. And once we do both of those, we can unlock the mailbox. And then obviously as you go up, there's more stuff you get to unlock. Another run, then we'll get the blue officers. You eventually unlock exchange access inside the embassy. I'm not sure where that's going to be. A discount commodity broker, which is really cool. I'm lucky enough to have gotten the Tufli freighter, which has a discount commodity broker on it, and that is just a godsend. I save so many ECs using that as opposed to just buying them through the replicator, or saves me also a lot of time if I wanted to fly around to the various commodity vendors across the galaxy to save myself a few bucks. And you get to eventually get the you can take the shuttle directly between the Fleet Starbase and the embassy, which is pretty neat. And then the third one gives us bank access, staff bartender, staff chef, the tailor contact, which includes a unique costume unlock, which I have no idea what that looks like either, but that's very cool. And the specialty consumable broker, unique devices for ground and space, which I'm not sure what that does. Anyways, that is the embassy. And once we unlock some of the new toys and the decoration projects, I'll be sure to do another one of these and show you what those look like. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.